Welcome my special guest today, Brannon Beliso. Now, Brannon serves individuals, businesses, and companies in living their best life. Brannon is a TEDx talk speaker and has presented at Facebook, Harvard, Stanford Healthcare, Lululemon, Microsoft, and many more. Brannon is an 8th degree black belt and CEO of One Martial Arts in Millbrae and San Francisco. He is an author and the creator of Kids Love Life Skills, a character building system partnered with over 300 schools worldwide. Brannon is husband and father, the two things he is most dedicated to and proud of. Brannon is my mentor, and he's taught me so much about business and life, in which I'm truly grateful for. So thank you so much, Brannon, for caring in the way
Very grateful.
you do. And it's an honor to have you here with us today, talking about bullying.
Yeah, bullying is a topic that has been around since the beginning of time. And I believe it's not something we should ignore. It's not something we should amplify. We should simply embrace bullying, much as we do adolescence, much as we do choosing a college, much as we do choosing a partner in life. I think there's two sides of that coin, Liam, that right away I just want to dispel, is that if we ignore bullying, don't think it's going to go away. And many parents will say that, just ignore the bully. And I don't believe that's a healthy choice, nor do I believe amplifying and giving the bully that type of attention, because people love attention, whether it's positive or negative. And a lot of people, dysfunctional people especially, can't differentiate between positive attention and negative. So if I act inappropriately, I get attention. Sometimes it's the kid at home who gets straight A's and does really well that gets ignored. It's the kid who's getting in trouble all the time that gets all the attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've probably touched on it there a little bit, but why do you think people bully, and what was your experience of bullying?
Well, my experience of bullying was really at a young age. At 11 months old, I went into a foster home. And foster care is never really somebody who loves you, that wants you to be there. Foster care is a temporary situation, and it's pretty much just an extra income for the family that chooses to adopt you. So I remember it was Miss Valencia was adopted me and my sister when we were in the foster care system. And she had two sons, and they were older than me and my sister. And they used to pick on my sister because she was a girl, and I would always stand up for her. And I was relatively young, probably about 2-3 years old. But I can remember fighting these boys every day physically. And I still have a scar on the side of my head where one of them pushed me down the stairs and I hit a brick in the backyard. And I can still see the residual scar. So that was my first experience with bullying. The second bully in my life was my father. My father was an extreme bully. He beat us physically. He bullied us verbally. And it was a very dysfunctional family environment. And so that was my second bully. And from that, I stuttered because I was so fearful of my father. He used to physically beat us, as I shared, as well as verbally bully us. And I stuttered as a child. So words like the and I couldn't even pronounce. It would be the and I stuttered. So I actually didn't physically speak in school until I was almost 6 years old. Back then, the cartoon character was Porky Pig, and he's a character in Warner Brothers. And so kids would call me Porky Pig because I stuttered. So it was easier simply not to talk. And then the bullying that came with that, kids thought I was a mute. And of course, there was something wrong with me. So the fact that I wouldn't respond to people verbally led to physical bullying. And so, yeah, I experienced bullying at a very early age.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I experienced the same thing. I used to stutter my words too, and I used to speak really quietly, and I speak totally different now to what I used to. And people wouldn't believe how shy I was then, how much I was lacking in confidence, afraid of making mistakes, wanting to be accepted and sort of belong in different groups and not finding my place. How did you learn to deal with those different types of bullying, and how did your mindset grow? How did you learn to overcome that?
Absolutely. Well, first was my speech therapist. His name was Mr. Laren. So every day after lunch, they would sit me with Mr. Laren in this room, and we would just play checkers and chess together. And he never really dwelled on, okay, let's practice saying the, or let's practice saying and. He just simply let me be me. And that was the first seed that was planted, that really the key to all of this was me learning to like me learning to love me for who I am. I often will say this: be perfect in your imperfections. And we do. We want to be liked. We want to appease parents. We want to be accepted. So we will behave and act a certain way to cater to people's expectations and impressions of us. And I think that's very ill-fated, because you never really spend what we should be doing in this world, and that's cultivating the self through self-discovery, through self-love, through the self-journey. The challenge with that is we're all born perfect, Liam. Then one day somebody said, good Liam, bad Liam. Oh, okay, first set of values. If I act like this, everybody loves me. If I act like this, oh, I'm shunned upon, I'm punished, I'm looked down upon, I'm criticized. So we're taught at a very early age not to like ourselves, not to express our individuality for who we are. Then over years and years and years, your truer self is buried under all these unauthorized thought patterns. And then we spend a lifetime in therapy and discovery, peeling all the way those layers to get back to you. So in essence, the key to stopping bullying is investing in yourself. Self-confidence comes from within, not from without.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And I've been on my own journey with self-love and self-care, and I put so much attention on doing as much as I could for others that I started to really neglect myself. And I had to create new habits to take care of me and really find out who I am and be true to myself, be the real me. What would you say are some of the things that have helped you along your journey to take care of yourself and to show yourself that self-love?
Well, absolutely. I think the first one, you recognize you were a codependent. You were of a victim mindset. And we almost romanticize it, right? So I've actually worked with children whose best friend is a bully to them. And I go, well, your friend says what to you? And they treat you poorly and they never play the games you want to play? Oh, they don't mean it. They're my friend. No, they're not. No, they're not. So that's a first indication that your child might be suffering from low self-esteem, low self-worth. We've all had that one friend that wasn't very kind to us, that was always very sarcastic, that never let us go first, that always chose the game and we had to play the game they wanted. All they did was allow us to be a victim. And that victim mindset carries on well into adulthood. And as long as I can be a victim, then I never have to empower myself. And so that happens at an early age. So that's something I recognized early on. And when people would say, you're so full of yourself, well, who else am I supposed to be full of? You? Your thoughts? What the teacher tells me I should do? What the bully says I am? You're stupid, you're weak. I mean, who should I be full of? And so we're taught to feel guilt and shame for being us. But you should be full of you, right? Naturally, you should. So moving from that victim mindset to being empowered, I recognize that really, if I want to contribute to this world, it is my birthright. It is my purpose to discover who I am. And through that process of self-discovery, trial and error, falling down, making mistakes, picking myself up, I become empowered. And that's really my greatest contribution to the world, is to empower myself and be that inspiration and be that example organically through who you are. People will naturally gravitate towards it. And the yin to the yang is, guess what? It's like light on a vampire. Bullies move away from you because you're confident. Bullies are looking for weak, because what does a bully do? A bully can't empower themselves. They go, I feel good, I hate myself. Let me go over here. I feel good, I hate myself. And so for a bully, it's a vicious cycle because they don't know how to empower themselves. So it's very raw and primitive. I hit somebody, I feel good for a minute, then I hate myself. And they repeat that vicious cycle over and over, instead of finding the skill set they need to be empowered. So when they see somebody strong and confident come along, guess what? They're going to leave them alone. When I work with small children, I'll say that, okay, show me what a confident person looks like. Show me no confidence. Confidence, no confidence. And you ask a kid who's not a bully, who is the bully going to pick on? This person or this person? And they'll always say the second person. So we know just on a very primitive level, if you look confident, you appear confident, you speak with confidence, it's a great bully deterrent, and it's empowering to you. It's part of your process of self-discovery.
And that takes practice, right? We've got to do that over and over again. We've got to train that body language. I know for me, I was that person that had that level 1 instead of level 10. I had my shoulders down, my chin down, my eyes down. And I didn't have that confident energy about myself, which, yeah, I attracted the bullying, I feel, because I didn't have that kind of confidence. I looked like an easy target. So that's one of the biggest things that we teach is that level 10, shoulders back, chin up, and eyes forwards. What else would you say is important about teaching? What kind of things do you teach your children so that they can be bully proof and be confident in who they are and have that self-love?
Well, I mean, it begins with self-confidence, and we teach children what does self-confidence mean? To believe in yourself. Great. Well, how do I do that? And I ask most kids, how many of you can ride a bicycle? They all raise their hand. I say, the first time you rode a bike, could you ride it very well? No, I couldn't. Well, you were scared, you fell down, you had no balance. But why is it that you can ride a bike today? Number one, to earn confidence, you never give. They all shout up. You always do your best, and you love to work really, really hard. Those are the three things. And if I choose to never give up, always do my best, work really, really hard, whether it's math, whether it's martial arts, whether it's getting along with a sibling, I build up that self-confidence. And self-confidence is really the key to bullying. Physical bullying is this small now. It's so small. But I understand there is physical bullying. Do you remember the movie The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
Okay, we had the Cowardly Lion. I remember the first time they confronted the Cowardly Lion, it was Dorothy, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow. And this lion comes out, "Roar, roar," and he's terrorizing the three of them. And all Dorothy does is go, pop, and pops him on the nose once. And then he starts crying like a baby. So sometimes if somebody physically bullies you, we teach children, walk away. We teach children, use your words and tell them to stop it. Or you go tell the teacher. But if you're all alone and this person's hitting you and you allow that, then you become a victim and you enable this bully and they will do it again and again and again and again. I had my bully in elementary school. He came and attacked me and I hurt him. I fought back. After that, we became best friends. So I'm not a huge advocate of violence. I do not like violence. It's horrible. But as I teach people, I would never come into your home and hurt you. But if you came into my home, I would defend my family. It's up to each parent to make that decision. But I'm very challenged when a parent tells me, well, there's zero tolerance at their school. It doesn't matter who started the fight. They will both get expelled. I said, so what do you tell your child to do? To take it. I said, whoa, to take it. So you teach your child to stand there with their hands down and let the bully push them, take their backpack, hit them. That's what you teach your child to do. Talk about disempowering people. And again, I'm not an advocate of violence. Let me pre-frame that. But that's, again, where the victim mentality begins. And it's perpetuated because we're taught to do nothing. What we're essentially saying as a parent is you aren't worth defending. You aren't worth protecting. And that's where I believe over time, some 13-year-old girl is waking up somewhere now in the world, in this world right now. I think it's every 11 seconds. And she wakes up and says, you know what's my best choice today? I'm going to kill myself. That's parents failed them. The school district failed them. Everybody failed that girl. No 13-year-old should be waking up and deciding the best choice today is to kill myself. Think about that. Parents, please think about that. And that's why the physical bullying is really small. What we're dealing with is social media. That alone, social media and cyberbullying is huge, So we as parents, we should be regulating our children's social media. We should have parental accounts. We should be watching. My son's phone goes straight to my phone. I see every text, every call that comes through. Doesn't like it? I'll shut off the phone. But I, as a parent, will choose to be a parent. And I'm going to monitor those things because that's probably the biggest enemy right now is social media for kids, without a doubt.
Yeah, 100%. And I always love to see how much positivity people put out there on social media, and they do keep it positive. They comment on other people's posts. They're positive in those kind of things, and they're not trying to bring other people down, and they're mindful of other people's feelings on the other side of that conversation. And I know martial arts did so much for me, and I was the same. I had to defend myself physically at times, which was the last thing I wanted to do. And it took a lot of courage for me to be able to, you know, be able to do that and have the confidence to do that. But then the bullying started to stop, and I didn't get bullied from that person again. How important, I know martial arts gave me a real focus, and training in the martial arts, as well as teaching me self-defense and learning to become physically fitter and stronger. It taught me that resilience to keep on going. I was pushed really hard physically, so I was having to build that resilience mentally as well as physically. And then it also helped me to move my body in a more confident way throughout time. And because I was learning a skill and I got better at that, and I started achieving goals and achieving my belts and things like that, that gave me a confidence boost, because I thought, right, I put that effort in and I've earned those things. How important is that for you and your children? You run One Martial Arts, and I'm sure you see the benefits of that every day.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I've been working with children for well over 30 plus years. You know, I started as a child in the martial arts at 5 years old, grew up in a family martial arts school. So, and especially for boys at a younger age, 85% of their communication is physical. So it's really important that they become coordinated and confident with using their body. That's why boys are always wrestling, putting their hands on each other. It's just the nature. So we want, you know, children in general to be very confident with the use of their body. Boys more so, because that is appropriate communication up until about the time of 8 or 9, right? How many friends you still got that? What's up, dude? And you punch each other in the shoulder and you're just doofs, right? Of what guys you grew up with, it's just the way it is. And that's okay. That's okay. So I believe what the martial arts offers in physical movement is vital to building physical self-confidence, which translates to mental self-confidence. The goals, you know, people think something as simple as earning a belt or earning a stripe isn't a big deal. Short-term goal, you learn to earn a stripe. Midterm goal, you earn your next belt. Long-term goal, you earn a black belt. Those goals are there very specifically designed to teach children that, oh, if I'm willing to put in the work and the effort, I can achieve a goal. As simple as a belt sounds, there's so much deeper meaning behind it. But more, I think, importantly, with the evolution of the martial arts, the yin and the yang, the balance is we have to teach life skills education, character development at the highest level. And that's why I created Kids Love Life Skills a decade ago, and it continues to flourish to this day. I recognize that this isn't going to get me very far, but this, governed by this, is the unlimited potential that we all really want to achieve. And that's the beautiful thing about that. But in the martial arts, we teach 3 elements: the mind, the body, and the spirit, right? So if the body's healthy and strong, the mind is constantly learning and growing, and the heart is in the right place, you create a balanced human being. And I don't believe a balanced human being is going to wake up and kill themselves today. A balanced human being is not going to wake up and go, let me go bully this person. It's quite the opposite. A balanced human being has that centeredness, has that self-confidence to right the wrong when they witness it, and to be an advocate for peace. And like you said, some people on social media are filled with love, are filled with positivity. Other people troll all day long, and they just hate. They hate because that's the mental state that they're in.
Mm. And you live your life through the values of empathy, kindness, gratitude, all of those amazing states to be in, and those values. One thing that I learned through the martial arts and my parents is to have respect for people, treat people the way you want to be treated, show kindness to others, use your manners, all of those things. And despite the bullying that I experienced, I still found it important to show kindness to others no matter what. How important is kindness for you, and how important is it that we teach kindness?
Well, people say, let me get this straight. You're teaching me how to punch somebody in the face, and then you say I should be kind. Well, we understand hitting people's wrong. It's just the opposite. We're teaching you how to protect yourself. Again, the whole thing, I won't go into your house and hurt you, but if you come to mine, I will protect my family. That's empathetic. I understand my family needs to be kept safe. There's, you know, people ask me that question all the time. They say, we really love your wisdom, right? You know, why do you always talk about the streets that you grew up in that's so far removed from you? No, it's not. No, it's not, because people wake up every day in fear. And so the yin to the yang, in order to truly embrace kindness like you do, the way you embrace respect, that's because you truly understand the other end of the spectrum. You know what it was like to be bullied and harassed and belittled and criticized and put down. You wouldn't be so kind. You wouldn't be so empathetic if you didn't experience that. Well, that's a life choice, right? People hit that crossroads. They've been bullied their whole life. They have all this negativity. They're either going to go down the rabbit hole of negativity, or they're going to choose to take that learning to become a better version of themselves. So it's crucial. I mean, it's vital to humanity because unlike, and I'm going to say this, we are a little bit above animals in some ways, right? We have that ability to intellectually internalize love and kindness and empathy, right? We might witness a video of a guy who sees a lion that he raised as a cub, hasn't seen him in 20 years. He sees the lion, hey, what's happening? Even after 20 years. That's far and few. Most of the time, that guy goes back into the wild. That lion's going to eat him. He's going to eat him on the spot. So we as human beings have that. But on the flip side, the yin to the yang, because of our intelligence, we have such the ability to hurt each other on such a high level. And the other side, we have such a high ability to be kind and respectful and loving. And it is a choice. But as a child, I think what's scary, and you probably felt this at times, when you don't feel you have a choice. When you're being bullied or put down and criticized, when you wake up and you don't feel like you have a choice in your life, that's where people become suicidal. That's where they become depressed. So as long as we empower people to know that I have the skill set, I have the power to make a choice every day, and you will not take that choice away from me, it's crucial. I think it's vital to a child's development.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's being able to, I once saw a great video where he said exactly that. Like, no matter what you call me or what you say to me, it'll not take my happiness away. It'll not take my spirit away and who I am. And I thought that was really, really powerful that he shared that. What would you say are some of the tips that you give parents and children if they're experiencing bullying right now? What things can they do to start to feel empowered and start to empower their children?
Well, I'm going to go back to when I was a kid. I remember one time I had a situation and I came home kind of banged up, and my dad said, "What happened?" I said, this kid jumped me and I got caught off guard. He goes, "What?" He took me back to that kid and made me beat the crap out of him. That's what my dad did. So what he was teaching me, as primitive as that was, he was saying, no, 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 because if you walk away there a victim, you will continue to be a victim. Let's go back there and you finish this thing and you walk away victorious. So I think it's very important that we empower our kids emotionally, mentally, physically. Now, we know physical bullying is very, very small. That's just, I'm using that primitive example. That could be a teacher at school. I don't like this teacher, Mom. Why? Well, because they're always mean to me and they criticize me and they say, you never have the answer. Well, you know what? How do I empower my kid? Because I can't be there 24/7, 365 in that classroom. I give them a skill set. You are welcome to stand up and walk out of that class and go to your counselor and tell them, or go tell the principal. I need to empower my child. Ring, ring, ring. Your child got up and walked out of the class today. Well, I've already reported several times that you speak inappropriately to my child. Right? I, as a parent, can't be afraid. Well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to go in there because he's going to be mean to my kid every day. So let's just kind of ignore it and get through the school year. What we're saying to our children is you're not valuable. And we understand the squeaky wheel gets oiled. So if my child comes to me and says they're being bullied by a kid, bullied by a parent, bullied by, I'm gonna be proactive because my child is coming to me for support. They're not coming to me for me to brush it under the carpet and go, well, that's all right. Just turn the other cheek, ignore them, walk away. Well, I'm sitting in this classroom all day and this teacher harasses me, right? Because it's often not just a kid, it's a teacher, it's somebody else within the school. So I think the big thing is deciding, and I can't tell you this as a parent, you need to decide based upon your personal values and your moral compass and the family you're raising and the child you want to raise, that what does that mean to you? I can't tell you that. I can tell you my father walked me back to that schoolyard, found that kid, and we finished it. We finished, and that kid never bothered me again because my father knew if I didn't, that kid would have beat me up the next day and the day after and the day after. And it wasn't about physically winning the fight. It was really about saying, this is too much trouble for you.
Mm.
Right? And bullying is a lot of that. The minute you show the bully it's way too much trouble, they'll go to somebody else. And if I'm showing up at school every day with my parent going, you're still bullying my kid, I want a meeting with the parents. You're still bullying my kid. I don't think the school district's doing enough. I'm going to the Board of Education. You're still bullying my kid. You know, this is prejudice. I'm going to take it to the media. You got to do what you got to do to protect your kid. So I think all's fair in love and war, because bullying is a form of war, and we must protect our children, and whatever it takes. I'm serious, whatever it takes. I even have a bizarre scenario I've already played out in my mind that if somebody's bullying my kids, I'm going to tell them, hey, man, I'm on the back end of my life. You don't leave my kid alone, I'll take care of you. I can sit in a jail cell. You got a whole life ahead of you, kid. You don't want to lose that life. I mean, because I think bullying is appalling. It's appalling, right? I mean, I'm 58. I'm on the back end. You're freaking 16. You got a long life ahead. I'll happily lose my life. You don't want to lose yours. And that's very primitive and raw, but I learned that growing up in the ghetto, right? You have to be willing to step up, because if not, you will get terrorized every day. And that's really what happens to a kid, right? They're perfect, they're loving, they're respectful. One day of bullying, 1 week of bullying, 1 year of bullying, 2 years of bullying, three. Eventually they wear down their soul, where they lose hope, where they lose that, you know, the better part of mankind's going to take care of me and help me. And that's when they choose to kill themselves. It's wrong. And that's when we all fail. So I think parents, I know you feel very inadequate. I know I do as a parent. When my son's being bullied, I get mad. What did you do? You didn't do this. You should have done that. Or, where's that kid? Let me go down. I want to beat up this kid myself. But we can't do that. We have to be very proactive versus reactive and look at all the resources in front of us. But again, you have to go back, parents, to your moral compass and the personal, you know, values of your home and what kind of child you want to raise. And I'm not raising victims. I'm raising victors, right? My kids are going to be winners. And that's just my choice.
I had the same sort of thing. I was experiencing a lot of bullying at school, and I remember someone like pushed me around, said they wanted to fight me and stuff. And at the time, I just, you know, I didn't really stand up for myself using my voice. I didn't have that confidence. And I told my mum, she picked me up from school because the bullying was that bad. I was afraid to walk home. And she picked me up, and I told her what happened. And she did the exact same thing. She said, right, we're going to find them now. And you're going to, if they want to fight, then you're going to stand up for yourself. And she drove me. She saw them next to the, I was hoping we weren't going to see them, but she saw them next to the road, and there was 3 or 4 of them together as a group. And she said, get out now. And she took me right next to the road, and she said, get out now. So I got out, and we ended up having a fight, but the pressure of like 3 or 4 of them being there as well, I don't think I did very well, but I did exactly that. I stood up for myself, and the bullying from that person stopped. I might not have won the fight, but I showed that I were willing to stand up for myself. I weren't going to be a victim.
Do you remember the movie The Accountant with Ben Affleck? There's a similar scene like that. There's a similar scene like that where the dad drives him back to the kids, and him and his brother get out and chase down these 3 boys and beat them up. I mean, you just, you know, the minute you stand up for yourself, there's a very primitive respect, but it's very empowering. You may not physically win the fight, but what you're saying is, I will stand up for me. I will not allow this. I will stick up for me. And that's where self-confidence comes from. And again, it doesn't have to be physically standing up for yourself. It might be your child standing up to the bully verbally, standing up by going to the school board, whatever it takes. I'm just very challenged when the child tells me, I tell the teacher and they don't do anything. That's not a good day. It's not. It's not a good day. And that's when I, as a parent, will intervene. But statistics have shown 85% of the bullying will stop if the child handles it themselves. It's so I need to give the kids the skill set to be able to handle it themselves, right?
Yeah, and when
if there's any kind of conflict or see bullets to get out of the freaking car. My dad did the same thing. There's a little data. So maybe there's some merit to that. What we're really saying, your mom was saying, is face this, whether it's fear of good. But the fact that we stand up for ourselves is very empowering, right? It's very empowering. And that's really more important than win, lose, or draw. It's the action versus the inaction of doing nothing is where we really cultivate self-confidence.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else that you would add when it comes to cyberbullying and things like that now? How do you, because I know for me personally, even though I have so much more confidence now, if I do get some sort of criticism and things like that, I do still take it personally. And
yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
We all do. Human nature. I think number one, love, block, delete. I have a little slide I created and it says love, block, delete. I'm a huge advocate because I'm so, present at social media with my work and what I do, that if somebody attacks me in any shape, way, or form, it's automatic. I don't think about it, but I will after it happens. It just happens because people attack me all the time. And I will simply love you because I don't want to hold a resentment in my heart, negativity. I will block you and then I will delete your comment. And that's carried over. I do it with people, places, and things. We did one exercise that I do. Who are the healthy people in your life? Who are the toxic people in your life? And who are future relationships we want to cultivate? And then we use the cow theorem. Can I change this situation? Can I accept this situation, or do I let it go? It's that simple, right? If I can't change our relationship, then maybe I need to accept it. If it's a family member and you're good with that, or you let it go. I have family members, I have relatives I've let go simply because it's toxic. If you don't walk away from the interaction feeling good about it, then maybe you shouldn't be in it. So when it comes to cyberbullying, parents, you got to monitor your kids' accounts. You have to be in it. And if they're not willing to give you the passwords and all the rest, guess what? Then they don't have the phone. They don't have the account. I'm going to say it. Do not be afraid to be a parent. You are not here to be your child's best friend. I tell my kids that all the time. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to be your parent. And as a parent, I have to make tough decisions. And at 11, 12 years old, I don't expect you to understand that. And like our parents said to us, one day when you're older, you will understand. But I understand it with media and everything. Well, Mary's parent doesn't do that. Well, you know what? Go live with Mary. I'm your parent. And this is how I choose to parent. And I make no apologies for that. I love you. I give you plenty. You have a great roof. You have a great life, vacations, goals, soccer, everything. I give you everything. So I will monitor your social media accounts and I will put parental controls on them. Like I shared, I can look at my phone right now and look at everything my son's done in any of his social media accounts. And if they're not appropriate or he's watching something inappropriate, then I take it. Because we have to be mindful of what we put into our minds. We don't think about that, right? They have this whole world at their fingertips, everything from pornography to they can just simply have access to information that when we grew up, we couldn't get to. And so we need to be very mindful as parents, but we're so distracted with our own social media and our own lives that we have to make parenting our priority. And let your kid be mad at you. It's okay. It'll pass. It'll pass like anything else. And one day when they're older, they'll understand. Any parent out there will admit, we don't get any kind of credit. We didn't sign up for credit. We chose to be a parent, so let's be parents and don't feel guilty for policing your kids' accounts. Don't feel guilty for taking their phone and demanding to look at what's going on. Don't feel guilty. It's called being a parent. And I back you up. Be a parent, especially with cyber. Yeah, especially with cyberbullying. Now, there's so many unknown variables, right? Has some 55-year-old pedophile posing as a 13-year-old girl building a relationship with my daughter and then say, let's meet up at the mall. It's not going to happen in my house, at least.
Definitely. And isn't that so empowering, going back to how you said that, and we've had that before with students where they've asked us, are they really my friend? And we've asked those same questions. Who do you spend time with that's really positive, that are great friends to be around, kind to you, involve you in games, all those things? And who do you spend time with that doesn't, that is negative to you? And that's a choice, right? You can choose who you spend time with. Even at a young age, I feel you've still got a choice with knowing who's a real friend, who's really a friend to you. And the other thing that I know you've got I'm sure great things to share with finally is about comparing yourself to others, because I think a lot of teens are doing that so much on social media. They compare themselves to others. What would you say to them if a child is comparing themselves to others, saying that, oh, they're better than me, or I'm not as good as them? Or
Well, I think number one, we should sit down and all watch that movie, that documentary, Social Dilemma, on Netflix with our children. You know, when that young girl wakes up and she posts a selfie of herself and someone goes, "You got big ears like an elephant." And you watch this little girl's head drop and then she, deletes it and posts a new selfie. There's kids out there that would not leave their home, will not leave their home unless they have 300 likes at Instagram.
wow.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy? So they're basing their self-worth upon how many views, how many likes, and that's the skewed thing with social media. I have 15,000 friends at Facebook. No, I don't. No, I don't. That alone, that title, friends, you're not my friend. I have 15,000 people, followers. What am I? Some kind of cult leader? I don't have followers. I don't have friends. These are just people who choose to, want to interact with me via social media. So I think it's very skewed. It's very, very skewed, with that. So I think we as parents have to empower our children with choice. They need to know they have real choices. And you know what's the number one choice? Come to me. And I had a conversation yesterday with a young teenager. She's really tall for her age, and somebody was bullying her. So she hauled off and hit this girl. Now I said, you shouldn't hit someone just because they say mean things to you. You should only defend yourself. Like in our martial arts, you notice you block first, then you hit back. You're not the person who hits first. We really try to teach that, to defend yourself. But what she was saying was, this person was taking away my power of choice. So for you teens out there, I think the big thing, we lose distance, right? Because I have an older son too, so I've already been through this. Is from the age of 0 until 7, we are their gods. They look up to us dads and moms like we're everything. Then between the age of 8 and maybe, 15, well, maybe dad doesn't really know what he's talking about. And then the age of 15 through the 20s, dad doesn't know anything. And then maybe 30. What did dad say again? There's that whole thing. Then, so it will come full circle. I have an older son in his 40s, and we've came full circle. And I remember when he was in his 30s going, "Hey, Dad, that makes a lot of sense." So they need to be their own person, parents. They need to go out there and make mistakes. So you have to let them do that. You can't physically lock them in the house and lock the door. But I think the biggest thing we can teach our teenagers is, like they said in Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And you as a young adult, a young teenager is going to go out there and be standing with your friends when they go, "Hey, let's do some drugs." And you're at a crossroads. What are you going to do? It's your choice. You can choose to say, "No, I'm going home now," or you can choose to want to be part of that and do that. So when it comes to that, I think it's really building those confident, resilient kids so they will make good choices. But let them make the bad choice. Let them suffer the consequences. One of my stories, I got on the back of a motorcycle with my friend. He said it was his brother's. It was a stolen motorcycle. No, it was his brother's motorcycle, but his brother was pissed off that his younger brother took it and reported it stolen. So we got arrested. I sat in a drunk tank because they didn't want to take us to the youth guidance center. So we sat in an adult drunk tank, and my father left me there for 5 hours. He could have came and got me right away. He got the phone call right away. He left me there for 5 hours. So I think that's important too. For every cause and effect, our children need to experience consequences. So with our teenagers, especially, you got to let them go, parents, please. Otherwise, they're going to be 35 living in your home playing video games. You can't shelter them. They need to go out there, make mistakes. Just be the sage on the side. Be the guide. I just don't want to be, do as I say or you get out of my house. Do as I say because, I pay the rent here. We got to get past that. That's not very compelling. It's not inspiring. There's no emotional connection. So do as you say. Otherwise, I live with the fear of you kicking me out. I can't get behind that as a teenager. I can't. I really can't. But, you call me up drunk and say, hey, Papa, I don't want to get in the car with these guys. I'm sorry, we were drinking and the guy who's driving is drunk. Will you come get me? I absolutely will, because that'll give me 30 minutes just to lash my tongue at you and tell you, was that a good choice? Was that a good choice? I'll happily get up at 2 a.m. because that's a good choice, not getting in a car with someone who's drunk and driving. You drinking, we'll have a different conversation on the way home. So you're a sage on the side, and each one of those situations, parents, with your teenager, is going to be a choice on your part. And each step of the way, you can either show that you're a huge advocate, that you want your teenager to make mistakes, and mistakes are part of growing up. Every successful entrepreneur will tell you, I make a lot of mistakes all the time. I don't make a big deal. I use it as a lesson to learn from. So I think that's the part. What separates us from our teenagers is when we just look at them and you're an idiot. Why'd you do that? Stop doing that. You're grounded. Give me your phone. None of it is supportive. It's more reactive versus proactive. But at the end of the day, parents, as long as you know in your heart of hearts, you love your kids and you want the best for them, you're going to make good choices.
Amazing. So final question. How do you excel in life?
When we talk about excelling, we talk about I'm here and I want to excel to there. Okay? That's essentially what we're saying. I want to excel in life. So the challenge with that, as a statement on the surface, is what we're saying, I want to excel. If I'm here and I excel and now I'm there, where am I in essence, Liam?
You move forwards.
No, where am I right now?
Oh, you're still in the same place.
I'm here.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
We're so busy, Liam. We're so busy. I got to get there. I'm not where I want to be yet. I need to excel. I need to get there. Then I said to one of my clients, well, but once you're there, aren't you here? They went, oh, I never thought of it that way. So guess what? Excelling is in every breath. Excelling is in every choice you make here. Excelling is in everything, in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So excelling is not about excelling and getting there. Excelling is right in everything you do. So that would be my shift. If I was working with my students and everybody's sharing, excelling is a state of being. If I'm always excelling in the here, then I'm not there yet. I'm not there. And that's so disheartening, right? It's so defeating. But if I recognize I can excel here, I'll get there and there and there and there and there and there. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's what excelling in life is. Excelling in life is not looking off in the distance going, well, I can't wait until I get there. I can't wait until, I make this much money, or I have this much wealth, or this size house, or I get that degree. Excelling is right here. Yeah. This is where you excel, in the here and the now. And that's how I excel in life, is by being fully present, fully integrated in this moment. So I can be my best in this moment. And if I take care of this moment, I'll get there. I'll get anywhere that I choose.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Brannon. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And
you're very welcome.
What's next for you, real quick? What are you working on? I know how busy you are right now.
It's really about recognizing in the current state of affairs that virtual is a huge medium to connect on. And over the past 8 months, I've really cultivated a huge following, more virtually than I ever have in my whole life. The event that just passed this weekend, we had New Zealand, Australia, the United Kingdom, we had Sweden, Germany, Canada, and all over the US. So I've recognized that engagement and connectivity, if it's true, and it's honest, can happen virtually, in person, in every different way. So this whole message of becoming critical thinkers on the level of empathy, on the level of service, on the level of kindness is really my mission. And it all centers around my purpose of living your best life. So right now we're just, taking care of the schools, making sure that we're still relevant, making sure that we're still producing revenue so we don't lose these two businesses. And in the interim, I've cultivated a whole new audience virtually, and that will continue. I want to write a couple more books. Our Kids Love Life Skills got a whole overhaul, so we're rolling that out to a much bigger audience. And as far as my message, I want to move beyond the martial arts industry into a much broader audience. And that's really my goal. That's really my goals.
Amazing. Yeah. I've read your book and it's incredible. I've gifted it to a few people now.
And for those of you, it's on Audible too. So if you want to listen to it, if you're not a big reader, you can listen to the book as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. And just finally, how can people follow you?
You'll find me everywhere. You'll find me at Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. You'll find me at Pinterest, Twitter. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just Google the name Brannon Beliso, and you'll be able to subscribe to my YouTube channel, BrannonBeliso.com, of course. I work with individuals, teams, small businesses, companies, and it's really to fulfill the purpose to live your best life, not mine. Your best life. But that takes a lot of courage, as I shared. When you hold yourself fully accountable for every thought, word, and action, then you really put yourself in a unique position to not only love yourself and be full of yourself, which you should, but organically it radiates outward and you're more inspired to serve the world at a higher level. So that's where you'll find me, everywhere.
Amazing. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things that you've taught me. You've taught me many things, but one of the biggest things that you've taught me is exactly that you need to define your version of success, what makes you happy, and stop looking around and comparing yourself to others and seeing what other people define as success, because that might not be success to you. And otherwise you're going down a whole different path that is not really what you truly want. So I'm really grateful for that.
And you know what's cool about that? I just had an aha moment, Liam. Can we write that, what you just said, in teenage language? There you go. You know, a teenager should be, because they're becoming an adult, they should be formulating their version of success. And maybe if they did that, they wouldn't care to wear the same shoes as the other kid or do the same TikTok dance, right? There you go, Liam. That's a whole new leadership program. If we can help teenagers cultivate their version of success, then they won't care what the other kid's wearing. It won't matter. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, be yourself. Be yourself. Thank you so much.
But what does that mean if I don't know who I am at 15? What does be yourself mean? I don't know. So how can we create exercises? How can we create experiences for our teenagers to help them be themselves, which is a process of trial and error and self-discovery, right? It's a whole process. So how can we put them in situations and create a dialogue and awareness for a teenager that it's okay, you don't know who you are, but let's do this because it's a good exercise to help you learn about yourself. Let's try this. Let's do that. You know, what different things are there data-wise to say a teenager should do 1, 2, 3, 4 to figure out how to be themselves, right? Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brannon.
No, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Thank you to all the parents and everybody listening. You know, I'm a parent like you. When the day's done, as I shared, it's not an easy job, but we signed up for it. We're passionate. We're committed. Just live from your heart, gather good data, and live from your morals and your values. And don't let your morals and values be skewed by your ego and your insecurities, because we as parents are experiencing our own mortality. As our kids grow up and leave the nest, we're faced with getting old. And so just be right here. I love being 58. I love it. The wisdom that comes with it. So love who you are. If you want to be the best way to parent your child, lead by example in your every thought, word, and action. And I promise you won't go wrong. So thank you so much, parents, as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.